Good morning. Hopefully everybody's doing good today. I I try to follow the spirit as much as possible. So when I get a feeling that I'm being pushed or pulled in a direction, I'll try to go with it. And so that's part of what these sermons have been about. Really, is me following that push. All of a sudden, I had a feeling that I needed to speak some of this stuff, and so I've done it. Now, this morning I've had another feeling, and the things that I've needed to say have been said, except for one final thing. And so, as far as I understand it, today this will be my it'll be my final sermon, unless I feel compelled to do it again. But as of right now, I don't. And it seems to make a little bit of sense that I'm compelled to give this final sermon, and that'll be it for now. So I'll get right into it. I'm going to talk about the book of Revelation. Revelation's an interesting book. You know, a lot of Christians, they almost don't even want to read it anymore. They don't like what it says. But and you know what? I'll be 100% honest. There was a time when I felt the same way. You know, I've studied the Bible, boy, an awful lot. You know, I was introduced to it as a child in church, and because I was a Seventh-day Adventist, you know, and I was around that community of people, they're into biblical study a little bit more maybe than some of the other churches, some of the other denominations. That doesn't make them better. I just so because of that, though, I had a familiarity with the Bible. But then, you know, by the time I was 18, I didn't believe any of it. I saw so much hypocrisy within the church that I was attending, and just within own family members that claimed to have this promise and were doing things that were silly and ridiculous and completely contradictory to that faith. And so, you know, our faith is a journey. But I will say this: I've read the book of Revelation. I can't say specifically how many times, but it's over 1,000. I know that for sure. I've been at this for years, you know, so when I was, I'm 48, on my way to 49 now. When I was 35, I had a supernatural experience that compelled me to come home right away that day and seek humility. And the way that shook out was I was led down the path of reading the Bible, seeing what Jesus had to offer in terms of humility. And so that's how I kind of got to where I'm at now. But so I was reading Revelation one day, feeling dissatisfied with it. What's up, Eric Roshak? I miss you, brother. I was reading Revelation one day, trying to wrap my head around it, and well, boy, all of a sudden I got to a certain chapter, and I was reading it, and I just started to shake in a way. I felt a sensation welling up in my chest. My hands started to shake, and I felt an overwhelming sense of emotion. Now, this is a feeling that over the years now, through my discipleship, I've become a bit familiar with. It doesn't happen all the time. I wouldn't even say it happens super often. But boy, it happens sometimes, and when it does, it's unmistakable. And so I paid attention to that feeling and what I was reading. And so I'm going to get into that. Where I had that feeling was when I was reading Revelation chapter 13. I think Revelation chapter 13 talks about two beasts. I think it's talking about two people that are present on this earth right now in a special time. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to read that chapter. I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to try to explain to you what I'm getting from it, where I'm coming from. I don't claim to have enlightened knowledge or anything like that, but I am going by a feeling which I would call the feeling of the Holy Spirit, an urging, which has been right and on point many times before. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this here. This is Revelation chapter 13. And I'm going to be interjecting as I read along. I'll explain it a bit. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. Well, I'll tell you right now, I think that beast is Donald Trump. And I want to tell you why I think that. The beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. What's a leopard? It's a predatory animal. It looks like a nice kitty, and it hides itself from its prey with its spots. So that's Donald Trump. He's like that leopard. He says a lot of things that resonate with a lot of people who think they love America. Maybe they think they love God. And he's saying these things, but those spots are hiding the true nature of who he is. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. What's a bear? A bear is a Bruin. It's an immovable force on land, and much that can move a bear around. And that's Trump. He seems to be this immovable force in our culture. No matter what he says or what he does, boy, we can't seem to push him out of here. And his mouth is the mouth of a lion. What does a lion do? A lion roars. There has never, ever been a president who's had the voice of Donald Trump. In America, American media, or on the world stage. Now, I'm not saying that's a positive voice. It's just a roar. It's constant. He is on TV speaking constantly, more than any person we've ever known in the history of mankind. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So what I think that means is that Satan himself literally was responsible for helping Donald Trump get elected through his influence and through his physical presence on this earth. Gave him his seat. What seat is that? The top seat on the ultimate free nation, supposedly on this planet, and great authority. There's no leader of any nation who wields more authority worldwide than the President of the United States. And we're seeing that playing out today. We're seeing that authority being just used casually, some might say. I'm going to pick up here in verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Well, geez. Now I want you to think about something. This is an ancient man who's seeing a vision. He doesn't understand a modern world. He saw this beast receive a head wound. Hey, guess what? Donald Trump, right on national television, got shot right in the head, right in the ear. Now, he missed being killed by a fraction, a millimeter. And when he popped back up on that stage, think to a person seeing that vision. Boy, that'd look pretty miraculous. Here's a guy got shot in the head. He's got blood coming down from his ear, and he pops right back up. And guess what? All the world wondered after the beast after that. Boy, it was on every airwave. Everybody talking about it. You see how he did that? And he even got on TV himself. Talked about it. It came from God. He was spared. Verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Boy, that sounds pretty familiar. Well, Donald Trump, he's been going on and on. Nobody can make war with him. Nobody can make war with the United States. And people are repeating that, his fan base. They're repeating that constantly. They worship him. And guess what? When they worship him, it's because they actually worship Satan's influence. Because they don't see the real fruit. They can't discern between a real Christian and a fake Christian. So when Mr. Trump says old 2 Corinthians, boy, they just love that. They think, well, he loves the Lord. Come on. Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things, and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Think about that. A mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. It's literally what Trump does all the time. He's constantly lying. He lies about everything, including his Christian nature. What a great blasphemy. 42 months. He was able to continue 42 months. How many years is that? Coming close to 4 years. How long is a presidential term? 4 years. He's given that power to continue. Remember, he already had that term. This is the continuance. And he opened his, verse 6. And he, the beast, opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. I believe this is getting ready to happen. This war we're in, it's going to bring about something. Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So you understand that. These people that worship Donald Trump, they're not written in the book of life. You might want to consider that. Verse 10. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. See, what he's saying is the true Christians that live here in America know that this war is a scam. It's a lie. Christians don't fight wars. Not physical wars. Our battles are spiritual. We don't live by the sword. Now here we're going to get a little bit more interesting. And I beheld another beast. This is verse 11. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. This beast, I believe, is Elon Musk. He looks philanthropic. He looks like a nice guy. But if you listen to the words that he actually says, he says all kinds of terrible things. All kinds of them. So he looks like that lamb. He looks like he's a helpful guy that cares about the environment and cares about people. But he doesn't. That's why he helped Donald Trump get elected. Verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now I want you to think about something. In Trump's campaign, before he got elected the second time, he needed a vault to get that push up over the top. And all of a sudden, someone showed up on the scene with big money and a big influence. And that was Elon Musk. You remember Doge and all that stuff. Elon even said when they had their fake little public feud and split, they didn't split, they still travel all over. Elon is tied tightly to Trump still. It's just they have different public interests and converging private interests. So they had this little fake feud. But when they had that fake feud, Elon literally got on national television and told everyone that he was the reason Donald Trump got elected. And of course he was. He was the money behind it, because Trump didn't have any money after his first run. He was pretty well broke, and he didn't have the money for a campaign, and that's why Elon stepped in and started dishing out the money. And not just Elon, but some of these other tech people, like Zuckerberg. All of a sudden he's in Trump's office. He's Trump's buddy. All of a sudden he's on Joe Rogan trying to be cool with everybody. It's because he's helping control the beast. He's helping prop up his seat. But Elon's that guy. Now listen to this, and this will bring it home for you. Verse 13. This is the second beast. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Now think about that. This is an ancient man seeing a vision. And he's just trying to explain it the best he can. He doesn't know what a rocket is. He's talking about a rocket coming down out of the sky vertically, the first time ever. Captured by the 2 little prongs there. We all watched it, at least most of us did. He's deceiving us about the true nature of the reality of our earth. And he's making great wonders, and fire come down from heaven in the sight of men. Verse 14. And he deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, and that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So think about this, though. Not only did we watch this rocket come down in the sight of men, but it came down right in the sight of the beast himself, just like this says it would. Donald Trump sat right next to Elon Musk on live TV, on CNN and every other channel. They literally showed the shot. They sat there and watched that rocket come down out of the sky. The fire come down out of the sky, and it was incredible to humanity. They made a big deal about that. And there it says it right there, that the second beast would make that happen in the sight of the first beast. Verse 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell except he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Now I want you to think about that. What do we got coming on the scene right now? We got tokenized digital currency and digital identification. This is very likely the mark of the beast. It's already present in the UK. No man can buy or sell or work without his digital ID. Well, with the shakeup in the world's economy right now, what's going on, and they were just in Davos 1 month ago, the Economic Forum, talking about this. We are going off of our physical currency. We're going over to a real-time tokenized digital currency. That's coming very, very soon. It's right there. No man will be able to buy or sell without that. I pray that you people can receive this. Verse 18. Here is wisdom. This is just finishing up chapter 13. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. So that's telling you right there. The beast is a man. It's a human figure on this earth. It's not a nation. It's none of that stuff. It's a guy. And it's describing that guy. Two guys to you. Two beasts. And it's right there for you to see. That's why the world is going nuts right now. The entire world is talking Donald Trump. It's because he's that guy. Now, I'm happy with where we explained that. I'm going to go into chapter 14. And I'm going to read to you a description of a nation called Mystery Babylon. And I want you to really think hard about this description. Be honest with yourself. Is there possibly any other nation on earth that it could be other than the United States, based on the description it gives? So let's just go ahead and we're going to read that. I'm sorry, I lied to you. I said chapter 14. I meant to say chapter 18. So we're going to go over to chapter 18 and we're going to read about Mystery Babylon. Chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now listen. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Hear that. The merchants of the earth. Everybody uses the economy of the United States. We're the buyers. Unfortunately. And that's how every one of these nations in this modern era have waxed rich through the abundance of our stuff and our desire for stuff. Verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye may not be partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. See, right now, God is speaking to Christians. He's trying to give you one last chance to stop going along with this Babylon system that you've been indoctrinated into, because it's getting ready to fall. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself. Think about the influence of America. We glorify ourselves and live deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. Think about that. We have more abundance than anywhere. We live more deliciously than anyone. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. What is every American right now who's on board with Trump in this war? They don't think we have a chance of seeing sorrow. They think we're untouchable. Verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. Listen to this and think about it. And lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off, for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Now, why would they lament for her? Because they were made rich. Think of the nations that are being made rich, selling us cheap crap and oil. And then it's perverting their cultures because they're trying to be a twisted version of what we do here. Verse 11, hear this. And the merchants of the earth, shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buys their merchandise anymore. Because when America's brought down, old great Babylon, mystery Babylon, there's nobody to buy all that stuff anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. Do you hear that? It's talking about the perverse abundance that we all enjoy here while there's real suffering going on all around us. And that's why it consumes the souls of men. Verse 14. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, the people that sold that stuff to us, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off across the ocean, for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones and pearls. There's no place decorated like this place. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to nothing. And every shipmaster, and all the company in ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. Think about that. Think of the giant cargo ships that come here day after day after day. and are made rich by our costliness. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. We make nothing after this event. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. We were the light, that holy city, corrupted. And the voice of the bridegroom, that's Jesus, and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by their sorceries were all nations deceived, thinking that our prosperity and material possession was a worthy pursuit over your culture. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. So there it is. I've laid it out like I understand it. To me, it couldn't be much clearer. We're in a perilous time right now. We're very near to a catastrophic event in America. And right before that catastrophic event, it's very likely that you're going to be tempted one last time with that mark before everything gets stomped on. So I'm just calling to believers, non-believers. Believers, and for the most of you, you've been taken. I know a lot of you have been taken, but it's not too late. You can wake up. And for a lot of non-believers, hear this. You feel it. You sense it. You see the beast. It's why he's so hated by people who aren't blind to his self-righteous lies. That's why you hate him, because he is the beast. Well, we're going to leave it there. I feel comfortable with saying what I've said. I feel like I've accomplished what the Lord has desired me to accomplish in this short season of ministry. I hope to see a lot of you in real life in the near future. I'm going to make this my last post on Facebook, hopefully forever. Take care, people.